Well, hello, sensitive beings, and you know who you are. You know who I'm talking to. You notice in yourself that sense of being felt, that sense that I feel you and you feel me. It's a kind of resonance body. You have a sense of safety when you feel someone is seeing you and including you, giving space to you. Let's sense that, as that's what we do, isn't it? Sense. We're sentient beings. We sense, and we have a capacity to be very tuned into others and sensing how they're doing. But let's also give space to what it can feel like in ourselves if we have been wounded or terrorized, in a sense, like a real terror inside us around systems, could be anything, family systems, education, hierarchical systems, or let's put it into a nutshell, authoritarian figures, whether that's in groups, establishments, or home, where there's a sense when you have felt invisible, a sense that your nature and how you are isn't being seen. But in that kind of environment, there's a feeling of contracting in, a sense of holding a lot of stress, and we could sense in you where when you're in those environments, you know, an authority, it's like a power over you. You just feel that power. So it's like you're sort of feeling oppressed, you're feeling controlled, you're feeling unseen, there's no space for you. There's just this sort of feeling of threat to you, feeling of being scared. There's a feeling of a kind of I'm being controlled, and there's like reward and punishment, you know. If I behave well under this control, I'll be okay. So I'm not being myself. I'm adapting to massive stress and fear in my system to be a certain way, so I belong. So I belong in that family, in that education, in that work environment, but actually I'm abandoning myself. I'm shutting down myself or numbing myself or disassociating from myself, because to belong, I have to disappear. I don't feel safe to be myself. So in sort of letting ourselves have that awareness, that then I'm kind of taught to hold a lot. There's a sense of holding a lot of stress in my body, an upward movement, stress or tension. And, you know, just for this moment, sense into your own body in those unsafe environments, what it feels like to feel anxious, worried, fearful, and just a real sense of fear. I feel really scared here. I can't be myself. I have to, you know, whatever they're saying, it's a sense of how, you know, jump, how far should I jump, you know? It's, oh God, it's just a terrifying feeling. I'm not safe here. So tension, yeah, where are you holding those patterns in you? Tension could be in your jaw, your neck, like the sense in your shoulders, in your chest, a feeling of oppression. And let's just, let's just give space to ourselves to feel what that's like in those environments, and to sensitively feel that in ourselves, that sense of holding tension, because I want to belong and I'm trying to get it right. So we can also see in that trying to get it right, I'd get very worried about making mistakes or doing something wrong here. Yeah. I feel really kind of sad, really, when I think of that kind of it's like being held hostage, isn't it? To a kind of jailer. Someone's jailing you and they're in charge, and you have to acquiesce to how they want you to be because you're trapped. You don't have a lot of choice here. They've got a power over you. So it's just a continual sort of survival, really. It's like you can feel very angry inside under this control. You can feel like a freeze, like scared. Oh, I really just keep freezing every time they come near. Sense of I want to just get out of here, but I can't. Or the sense of being very friendly, just really because I feel so scared and controlled. Yeah. And I think it's important to presence that in ourselves, to give that the awareness it needs that this is going on in ourselves, because we're moving into a new kind of expression, like kind of the ground beneath us. We're learning to start to feel safer, but I think we have to have the awareness that this has gone on for a long time, as well as now we want to gain resources in ourselves to be able to presence both, the ones of control, power over, and the sense of this kind of new land that I'm moving towards, where I want to feel safe and I want to feel I can just be myself. It's a very different thing. The other one has a lot of doing. What do I do? There's a lot of sense of not much space, very little space here. Very scarce. It's like a scarcity here. There's not enough love, not enough time. There's just not enough. Everything feels like it's tight with not a lot of space. So then we sense giving ourselves space and something about being. I'm being myself, I'm not doing in order for you to love me or belong. Something about how can I find resources in myself to foster and nurture a new way of being, which is about simply being myself. Yeah. And let's just give that a little bit of space. Yeah, simply being myself. I want to be loved for me. I want to be seen just simply being myself. And again, I'll bring the nature in because that always makes me super happy, bringing nature in. But think of all the creatures in the world, so much complexity and diversity, beautiful giraffes and hippopotamuses and walruses, to tiny little ants running around, and beautiful little creatures. You think how complex they are, and we compare how we are as humans. So as humans, there's a sense of being very labelled. We sort of label humans, and you go into these kind of categories, and sometimes that's useful. That could be good, like I like to feel this is who I am, and I want you to respect me, and I really respect that. But there's just something here about if you were going towards a hippopotamus, you wouldn't, so it's called a hippopotamus, but you wouldn't necessarily be going up to it and making evaluations and judgments about the size of it, the way it's configured, the way it eats, the way it walks about. It's very different, say, from, I'm just trying to think of a beautiful animal. It's very different, say, from a lion. Completely different, isn't it? But we wouldn't compare the two and say one is right and one is wrong. We'd just say they're different. And the lion, in all its regal presence, is as beautiful but different as the hippo. They're both unique, and each of them belong to certain types of families, but even in the family you couldn't say every hippopotamus is the same. They're completely different. But as humans, we seem to separate, evaluate and judge difference. And we're moving into a different way, which is to respect difference and actually say, I don't really know a lot about how you are, and I'm really curious to know. I'm really curious to understand your uniqueness and your difference in a way that's beautiful, in a way that I'm attuning to you and I'm sensing you're different from me, but we're part of a family. So some of these labels or defining ourselves, like the hippopotamus or the lion, in all our differences. So, you know, we could be, I'm just trying to think of something, neurodivergent, I'm dyslexic, so I'm not neurotypical, I'm different, you know, I'm very creative and artistic, and that's very different. So there would be something about, oh, I'm getting to know you and your sensitivity because I'm curious. And so if I was with somebody who's transgender, or it could be anything, autistic, as opposed to the label hippopotamus is useful, that being is very complicated and different from me, and I don't know. The only way I would ever know is by listening, like a deep listening, but in a care, like I'm caring to listen. I want to understand who you are, and I don't know. It's unknown to me. Something's unknown. Yeah. So we are looking at resources to give ourselves space to be, and we're also looking at resources of how to presence other human beings who are different from ourselves, and this feeling of attuning to each other and respecting the differences, and actually knowing we don't always know, and I'd say a lot of the time we don't know. Yeah. And space to be, what would that be like? You know, to space to be in nature, letting all the varied trees expressing their individuality and the networking they do under with their roots. This sense of togetherness, the sense of supporting each other and helping each other. So it's something here about bringing more space to you for your right to be, and a curiosity about difference in others, but also the sense of you yourself wanting to be respected in your different way of being, and giving yourself space to let yourself be. And then there's a kind of shared, there's, instead of the feeling of scarcity and there's not enough of everything, there's a sense of abundance. There's a sense of space for one another, to feel each other and to respect difference and different qualities. And I think the natural world, the earth that we all come from, is very useful. It's a useful resource to ask ourselves, are we near or far from the earth? Are we in touch with the earth beneath us? Do we feel rooted and connected? And it's not really about judging whether or not we do. It's about including in that moment that we may feel distant or disconnected and becoming aware of that. Anyway, on this very beautiful and sunny day, these are just some little moments of sharing that we're moving from this very tight, stressed, scared power over to a much more fluid, open, spacious place, a new sort of land for us to root ourselves and to grow into the beings and potential we are, and respecting difference and giving ourselves and others space to be. So it's about freedom, and freedom for all of us. Enjoy this weekend that's coming. Hope this is helpful. It's sent from my heart to you to support sensitive beings to come out into the world more and more, and that's really the motivation. It's in me to this world to sense and feel each other more. So I hope, if it does, just like and subscribe. Why am I saying that? Because I want to bring this energy more into the world. It's really needed. So the more I can touch souls that feel they pull away from shining, I can help to bring that energy back, you know, and balance out this this feeling of I'm too scared to show myself, you know. That these sensitive ways of being are being sort of blocked by the past, and we have to see that. We're looking out into the world from eyes from our past, you know, the fear of power over. So it's something about, I see that in myself, as well as I'm moving into the new land and the new earth that respects all beings, non-human and human. All right, bye now.